From Realistic Bobcat.
As all who've been here for a while know, fast food has always been a restriction food for me. Constantly thinking I can't have it, I can't eat it, it'll make me gain weight, I'll turn into a balloon, I'll die of a heart attack, etc., etc. And yet, intuitive eating says that to overcome that, we must eat in abundance. I've been trying to do this since 2017, honestly. It's been 3 years and it hasn't worked. I haven't gotten tired of it. It hasn't lost its shine and appeal. It's still a source of extreme shame, obsession, and desire. And additionally, it's been impossible to eat truly in abundance because of the cost. Because of the money it would take to do that. To constantly swipe my card at drive-thrus and restaurants and eat. But I've taken on working at my third job a lot more so that I can eat out more often. And the approach right now is to eat however much fast food as I want, whatever I want, whenever I want, and address the shame when it comes up, and address the anxiety and the eating disorder thoughts when they come up. And honestly, it's turned into eating out 2 to 3 times a day, just about every day, which was always the fear that if I let myself off the leash, it would be a free-for-all, and yet it kinda is. But I've had moments here and there, like once every 2 weeks, where eating out doesn't sound like the top choice. But even in those moments, I feel tied to eating out anyway, because of the situation and where I'm at. Or because I'm afraid that if I go home, it'll feel like I'm taking away something from myself and not allowing myself to eat out. It's a complicated place in my brain right now, and honestly, I never would have thought recovery looked like going through 3 drive-thrus a day. But here we are, and I'm working on pushing back against the shame thoughts that come up every time I go through a drive-thru. Still working on it.
Hotel stationery replied.
Eating so much you literally can't afford it? But at least you're not a slave to diet culture.
Lemon mints.
But they're fat because they're poor. Don't you know anything, you phobic fiend?
From Jaywalk66.
Obese to Beast posted. I have massive amounts of loose skin. Am I allowed to post about body positivity? Why do you get to deem who gets to be body positive or not?
Body positivity is for fat people of color.
Anyway, Obese to Beast posted a video to reply to this. Go check it out if you want to. It's called Body Positivity is Not for Skinny People? Really?
From Dorkita.
We are powerful creators and we get to choose love over fear. Our beliefs matter in virtually every domain in everything we do. I don't think we've given enough credit to the role of our beliefs in determining our physiology, our reality. Aaliyah Crum. That means that what you believe about what you are eating has more power over your physiological response to food than the actual caloric and nutritional value of the food. Your body is heavily affected by what your mind is doing and thinking. I loved reading this in The Fudge It Diet by Caroline Dooner today, because everything I know is that our reality is happening through us and never to us. Our beliefs create our reality, and this means we can totally change all we've ever believed about food, our bodies, and ourselves.
Bob the Orange Cat.
So if I believe hard enough that chicken and waffles has no calories, then I can eat as much as I want and it won't make me fat? Ugh, I've been dieting wrong.
Arrow Azure.
You're still doing it wrong. You need to believe that chicken and waffles has negative calories. That way it burns the calories for you as you're eating. You don't even have to move or get exercise. And personally, this means I still have a chance of getting into Hogwarts.
Empire's on Fire posted.
Recommendation for HAES medical professionals to follow on social media? I'm tuned into the vibrant world of HAES, anti-diet, and intuitive eating dietitians on Instagram, but I was hoping to broaden who I follow to include other medical professionals, especially doctors. I feel like I have a good grasp on the myth-busting my current fellows do for food and nutrition, but I'd love to see more myths busted in other medical areas, especially the relationship between weight and cardiovascular health. Thanks in advance for any recommendations.
Sodium Dragon replied.
I wonder if they follow other anti-science and enjoy seeing myths such as vaccines don't cause autism and the Earth is a globe being busted.
From Hando the Heel.
Thin privilege is real. You are able to fit in the seat of an airplane, train, or car. You are taken more seriously for your work at your job because you look put together. You receive more matches on a dating app and are able to go on more dates. People do not assume that you are inherently lazy or a mess. You are able to find your size at every clothing store.
Excellent Log replied. I'd really like if these high-achieving students would check their privilege. They're able to get good grades, land a well-paid job, family and friends are proud of them, coworkers respect them. They're able to provide themselves with a nice car and apartment. We need to end this no-study phobia. Just because I browse Reddit while I should be studying doesn't mean I don't deserve everything they do.
From Veer Pat.
Lol, what? This company that makes people look less fat and conform more fully with the thin, white, cis-abled, colonialist beauty standard are all about body positivity. Reminder, corporations do not care about our bodies, our relationship to them, or our liberation. Retailers will not set us free, and body positivity that relies on anti-fatness isn't fudging helping.
Love Dove Bunny replied.
How the heck is colonialism part of this argument? From what I remember in my history classes, colonialism is when one country takes over another country or land or territory with the aim of economic and political power. I don't remember fat people being victims of colonialism.
Hotel Stationery replied.
Their belief is that Europeans brought their European beauty standards to the New World and imposed it on the native peoples. I guess they think that prior to Europeans arriving in the New World, all the people who were already there were fat, and the Europeans fat-shamed them into getting thin and healthy, so it's all about colonialism. I think bringing up colonialism is part of their hierarchy of oppression, since colonizers were white and white is bad, so being thin is bad. Make sense?
Veer Pat replied.
Now I have this image in my head of the Founding Fathers in Spanx. Thanks!
Warning before they show the next picture. You're about to see George Washington wearing Spanx. If you would not like to see this, close your precious little eyes. From Cola Pepsi Kinney.
If a skinny mukbanger gets to eat 4,000 calories in one video, then why can't obese people eat the same amount? The glamorization of thin people needs to stop, and plus-size women need to step up their game and fight back.
Grotchreef replied.
You know what happens with a lot of mukbangers, 10,000 calorie challengers, competitive eaters, and the like? It should be obvious. Do you think that skinny as a rake competitive eaters who don't exercise are actually keeping the food down? If where are the calories going is inexplicable, then they're either faking it, they eat a bite, and then you mysteriously don't see them eating the rest of the meal in that 10,000 calorie challenge. Wake up and smell the coffee. Or they do something bad for their teeth after the show. It's just that simple. Sad, but what goes on behind the scenes is not a mystery, because those people are not an exception to laws of physics either. They are not behaviors that should be imitated by anyone.
Fitzill.
Even in most videos, they don't swallow the food, or at least the scene is cut before they do. And is it just me, or do their lenses and camera positions make the food look bigger? I've noticed a disconnect between the size by the camera and the size when it's right next to their faces. And I really don't think mukbangers are like the ideal health anyone should be aiming for.
From Love Dove Bunny.
I'm so frustrated. I thought I found a safe place at a new hairstylist. I've been to her 3 times in the past few months for color work. Today she makes a post on her professional Instagram account that basically says she used to be fat for various self-derogatory and triggering reasons, but then goes on to urge others to work hard to be their best selves by losing weight. I've already responded in haste to a question on one of her story slides, and now she's polling her audience if she's in fact fatphobic. I'm just so angry I don't even know where to begin with her. Thank you for listening to my rant.
Love Dove Bunny replied to her own post.
A bit of context after this was posted. The people in the group went to the Instagram account and voted that the stylist is fatphobic, despite never being her clients or never ever meeting her. And they messaged her repeatedly to tell her she's awful. But of course, fat people are the ones being harassed.
Geologian.
I thought I found a safe space, but it turns out this woman has a different opinion than me, so I got the internet to bully her instead.
From Bell Apples.
Other people's weight, family or not, should not be your concern. I'm pretty sure if they are at risk of dying from obesity, they already know.
Some people are quite delusional and are unaware of their growing issues. It's good to help out a loved one if they're at risk of legitimately dying.
It's not good, it's poopy. You don't know what that person is going through. What if they had an eating disorder or other serious mental health illness, and you then comment on their weight? This could have such a big effect on someone's mental health. You aren't helping people by telling them they are fat because you are concerned about their health. You are putting unnecessary pressure, stress on them, which is doing the opposite of helping. Please think before you say. Am I correct when I say you think that I should let people I love die in front of me due to obesity complications because I don't want to hurt their feelings?
OSU Firebird 18.
Would they have the same opinion if the family member was an alcoholic? What if they had an opioid problem?
Lion Sharta 93.
Or what if they were severely underweight?
Tizzle Rizzle.
They'd say eat a burger, lol, and cry when someone says the same thing about a salad or other healthy option.
From Elmir 2000.
It's true that you might feel better at a lower weight. However, if that weight loss doesn't come easily, and your happiness is contingent upon it happening, then precious life is being wasted now in the pursuit of it. While our culture makes daily life easier for thin people, and while we may feel more physically comfortable in a thinner body, if getting this thinner body doesn't come easily and requires a lot of effort to get or maintain, how worth it is it really? What else in life can't be experienced when so much of our focus and energy and time is fixated on keeping a thin body?
Hilltop Hermit replied,
All those questions can be reversed about obesity. What else can't be enjoyed in life because your body is screaming out in agony from the additional weight it's forced to cart around, and all the additional strain on your organs? I've never seen a morbidly obese person out hiking on trails and enjoying nature. Don't these people realize you can eat a balanced diet? It doesn't have to be a cup of rice and a single slice of meat every day. You can eat healthy and not be starved.
From Fear 100. This one was probably a joke and not a real post.
I had this happen to me. I was a size 145 and a white witch cast curses on me. I was sleeping one day. During my sleep, I felt 20 pounds come upon my body less than 24 hours. I was starting to break out of my skin. I could feel the weight gain less than 2 months. I was 240.
Joke aside, Accountability Buddy has a real story.
I had a teacher in high school, freshman English, who swore her weight loss only happened because another teacher, study hall librarian, performed a spell on her that finally allowed her to lose weight. No, this was not a made-up teenage rumor. These teachers talked about it often. Even at 13 and 14, I face-palmed that so hard. Like grown educators think that a spell can change the laws of thermodynamics.
Red Almond Nails posted,
You have no idea what you're talking about. None! Look, I'm going to be nice to you. Just Google obese marathon runner and see some of the results. There are thousands upon thousands of people who burn way more calories than you do and are still fat. Please educate yourself because you have no clue what you're talking about. I read the story years ago of an obese woman who gets up every morning and runs a 10K. Before going to work, she runs marathons. She runs those 50-mile runs. Forget what they're called. There are so many ignorant people such as yourself with no education or training. You've never taken classes or trained anyone, yet you still fat shame. And in this case, you're doing it to your own family. Yikes, brother. You don't realize just how bad you look with your post.
Brotry replied,
Now try another internet search. Google pictures of the Boston Marathon or any marathon that actually has a qualifying time instead of just allowing anyone in. And try to find the pictures of obese people there. Good luck with that search. Yes, there are obese people who've completed a marathon distance, generally far in the back of the pack, behind fit grandmas, at a pace that is on the border between running and walking. They will generally either cease being obese, or they will cease being runners soon enough. The rare exceptions who can out-eat their running habits and not get injured at that weight are the likes of Myrna Valerio, public figure by the way, who I suspect is the person being referenced in the second paragraph. If anything, I'd say she proves just how devastating extra weight is to fitness, health, and performance. Myrna Valerio is generally the best example they can give. That woman is clearly genetically blessed with joints of steel and heaps of talent. If she can maintain an injury-free running career at her weight, she could probably excel if she put the fork down a bit. But instead, her results are worse than those of an ambitious 80-year-old at half of that age.
Knitting and Spaceships added,
Completely agree with all of this. And And even in any mediocre small-town race that allows anyone in, the 30% or so fastest people are usually all fairly lean and toned. From my experience, my speed and well-being suffers even when I gain just a few pounds above my ideal weight. All the really ambitious distance runners I know are slim people. All the chubby runners I know are really slow and also often complain about injuries or vague pains and inconveniences. They're always too hot, running is a chore, etc. And yes, especially the elderly runners I've met. There are a few people in their 70s or 80s at my swimming club who do triathlon. We're all slim and fit. Because you can't do this for decades on end while obese. Your body will just nope out at some point.
From Throw RA Husband Health.
My husband eats so much food, over 10,000 calories a day, and has gotten so obese, and I just don't fudging know what to do anymore. Warning, this is a long story. He didn't used to be like this. We got married when we were both 25, now we're 33, and he's gone from around 180 to over 450 pounds. Looking at him fills me with horror and despair. He may as well have been diagnosed with terminal cancer, because his size is going to have the same result sometime in the next 10 years if he doesn't stop. In my heart, I no longer believe my husband will be here by the time I'm 50. His medical problems so far: a mini stroke from a blood clot, abnormal heart palpitations. He went to the ER both those times. Extremely high blood pressure, extremely high cholesterol, diabetes. Didn't check his levels or take insulin as directed until I began reminding him. Inability to walk much, uses a scooter sometimes. Joint pain, lymphedema in one of his legs. Sleep apnea, and has to wear a CPAP machine at night so he won't literally die from not breathing. 5 different medications that I manage, the scheduling of, or he wouldn't remember, not care, I don't know. His diet. Fast food, goes through drive-thrus on his way to work.
Just a little aside, I'm glad to see he's working. His depression hasn't left him to the point where he spends all day in bed.
Gets fast food on his way home, and or picks up takeout. McDonald's, Burger King, local Chinese joints, Taco Bell, KFC, Popeyes, Domino's, Dunkin' Donuts, Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, Arby's. Also gets all this delivered from Uber Eats whenever he feels like it, which is at least once a day. He even does it in the middle of the night. Everything else is just junk food like chips and other packaged snacks. All sorts of candy, ice cream, baked desserts, frozen microwave food like breakfast trays and sausages. Burritos, Easy Mac, basically anything you could find at a gas station convenience store. All his meals are full of sugar, frying oil, butter, fat, and grease. Just the worst ingredients that are exactly what he needs to stop eating. We're both working from home right now. I've watched him for a few days this week, keeping a record of everything he ate, that I saw. If he ate at night and when I was in another room, I missed those, and then looked up the approximate calorie value of every item. Every single day was at least 10,000 calories. The worst day was a little over 14,000 calories. A sedentary male of his age and height needs around 2,500 calories a day, just for comparison. So this has been an ongoing problem for years and just keeps getting worse, both his diet and the medical consequences. I am terrified that I'm going to be burying him, possibly before we even reach our 50s, and get to enjoy old age together. I'm terrified I'm going to have to see the person I love most in the entire world die from a long, drawn-out, painful accumulation of treatable illnesses. And some days, I wonder if I'm not already watching that in slow motion. I have asked him so many times to please eat healthier. He will. He eats the healthy meals I make. But then he still eats junk food after, or orders a second fast food dinner. He doesn't get it's not enough to combat the damage to his body. I've also begged him to go to the doctor. He only goes when something is catastrophically wrong. See the emergencies in my list above. In fact, most of the more minor problems in that list were only diagnosed because he happened to be at the ER for something major and they found it. I've begged him to see a doctor for a routine, non-emergency checkup, specifically with the aim of building a support plan for weight loss and a healthier diet. He says he'll do it, then has excuses why he didn't. I myself have gone ahead and made a couple of appointments for him to make sure calling people wasn't stressing him out. And then when the time came, he just never went. Same thing with the therapy appointment. I set it up for him and he never went. I wondered, and still do, if there's something like depression at play, and this is the form it takes. But I'll never know if he won't talk about it to anyone. He doesn't even talk to me about what's causing it, beyond saying he just likes food and eating makes him happy. I'm reaching a point where I feel like my heart is breaking. Like he's leaving me, even though our relationship is as strong as ever. I don't understand it. Why doesn't he care? What else can I do to get him to take care of himself? Does he not understand that every day he doesn't change is one day closer to him dying young? I live with this fear every single day, and I just can't do it anymore. I need to find something that will make him stop. I'm desperate. I cannot just fudge and give up. Please give me any suggestions you can think of. I'll try anything. This is just a personal opinion, but I think she has to confront him and put down her foot and tell him that he can't keep doing this, or she's going to leave, or else she's going to be a grieving widow very soon.